We are continuing our new series on the history of cruising with a look into the history of Carnival Cruise Line. Ahoy travelers, it's Amy with Cruising from the Ozarks here with another fun history lesson for the cruising community. As the most popular cruise line in the world today, it may be surprising that Carnival has only been around for 50 years. Carnival began with their first ship in 1972. The original Mardi Gras was a 12-year-old former transatlantic liner purchased from Canadian Pacific Line. The Florida-based company was founded by Ted Arison, who got help from a friend who owned American International Travel Services, or AITS. Carnival was ran as a subsidiary of AITS in order to help market and promote the new cruise line. In 1974, AITS sold its interest in the company to Arison for just $1, and Carnival was on its own and able to promote itself to travel agents as a line for fun-loving younger cruisers. Carnival acquired its second ship in 1975, another former Canadian Pacific Line ocean liner. They named it Carnival. In 1979, they purchased yet another ocean liner, this one from the Union Castle Line, and named it the TSS Festival. Finding that their concept of shorter, budget-friendly cruises was a success, in 1982, the 10-year-old company decided it was time for their first new ship build. The MS Tropical would be the first of Carnival's ships to bear its now famous whale tail. Built by a Danish shipyard that I will not attempt to pronounce, the Tropical would become the line's test ship for new cruise destinations. It would be the first to be based out of San Juan, New Orleans, Alaska, and Tampa. The Tropical even appeared in an episode of the A-Team, as well as an episode of Growing Pains. Talk about some 80s flashbacks. The 80s is also when the famous Carnival TV commercials starring Kathie Lee Gifford began airing.
If they could see you now out on a fun ship cruise, eating fancy food and doing what you choose, I'd like your friends back home to get a good look at the first-rate Carnival cruise that you took. All I can say is, wow, hey, look at where you are. Tonight you're living, pow, just like a movie star. What a fun ship, holy cow. They'd never believe it if your friends could see you now.
Man, I remember those. How about you? The 80s also saw a new class of ship for Carnival, the Holiday class. 3 ships in total were built: the Carnival Holiday, Jubilee, and Celebration. All were eventually sold to other lines and have since been scrapped. The end of the 80s would usher in an era of massive acquisition for Carnival as they began purchasing other lines like Holland America, Windstar, Costa, Seabourn, etc., and formed the parent company, Carnival Corporation. The 90s introduced the Fantasy class ships to the world, beginning with the Fantasy. You'll recognize a pattern here where the first ship in the class bears the name of the class. The Fantasy class ended in 1998 with the 8th in the class, the Paradise. The oldest ships still sailing for Carnival are Fantasy class ships, Carnival Elation and Carnival Paradise. The 90s is also when Carnival began selling off its older ships that had been purchased secondhand, which would see the end of Carnival sailing ocean liners. The very first Carnival ship I sailed on was also built in the 90s, the Carnival Destiny. Built in 1996, it was the first of the now defunct Destiny-class ships. However, it isn't that the ships are all gone. Instead, they were refit and reimagined as the Sunshine class, with ships still sailing for Carnival today, although by a different name, including the Destiny, which is now the Sunshine. At the time of its launch, the Carnival Destiny was the largest passenger ship in the world. Now it's one of Carnival's smaller ships. Oh, how things change. The turn of the century brought on even bigger and better ships for Carnival. But before we get to that, if you enjoy this video and maybe even learned something, consider subscribing with the notification bell on so you don't miss any future posts. Be sure to hit that like button as well. It only takes a second, and doing so helps cruisers like you find us. The next class of ships for Carnival began in 2001 with the Carnival Spirit. Consisting of 4 ships, the Spirit class was made up of the Carnival Spirit, Pride, Legend, and Miracle. These, along with the Sunshine class, are still favorites of many who have sailed on Carnival throughout the years. While the newer and bigger ships get all the attention, these smaller ships are still beloved by many. Now, my favorite ship so far, the Carnival Dream, was released in 2009 as the first of the line's Dream class. She was followed by the Magic in 2011 and the Breeze in 2012. Have you ever been on a Dream class ship? What did you think? I think they are Goldilocks ships. Not too big, not too small, just right. Making her debut in 2016 was the Carnival Vista. Vista-class ships are now a popular design found in more than just the Carnival line. Besides the Vista, Carnival also has the Horizon, which was launched in 2018, and the Panorama in 2019. Recently, Carnival has brought over the Costa Venezia, another Vista-class ship, as part of its fun Italian-style program, with the Firenze to follow suit next year, bringing Carnival's Vista-class to 5 ships in total. The next ship we're going to be trying out will be the Vista, which currently sails out of Galveston, one of our 2 home ports. I've heard you either love the Vista class or hate it, but either way, I'm looking forward to finding out. 2020 began a rough time for the cruise industry as cruising was shut down in March as part of the response to COVID-19. And let's be honest, it was a rough year for all of us. It was during this time that Carnival chose to sell off several of its older ships for scrap. The Carnival Fantasy, Imagination, and Inspiration are all merely a memory now. In 2021, the highly anticipated Mardi Gras finally entered service and is currently sailing year-round out of Port Canaveral. This has begun a new era of XL-class ships for Carnival, all bearing the names of those very first ships of the line. The Celebration joined the fleet in 2022, and the Jubilee is set to launch at the end of this year in home port out of Galveston. Originally meant for AIDA cruises, the Jubilee is going to be the last new build in the works for Carnival as they pause building in order to pay off the loans taken during the shutdown. Carnival has had a total of 40 ships under its banner over the years and currently has 27 in its fleet. And now that does include the upcoming Jubilee and Firenze. There have been 5 Carnival Cruise Line presidents, with Christine Duffy serving as the first female president since 2015. How many Carnival ships have you sailed on? Do you have a favorite ship or class of ship? Let me know in the comments below. And then why not stick around and check out this video on the very first cruise ship in history. Then come back for more information designed to help you have an amazing cruise. Have a blessed week, everyone.